Well.
We're back again.
Defying all the odds. Another podcast episode. I tell you, it goes like this. We record the podcast.
Yeah.
Immediately as I hit cut, I think to myself, I'm never doing that again. And then here we are back again a week later.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me plead with the audience of this podcast. If you have any fitness, nutrition, lifestyle related questions, please comment.
Let us know.
We'd love to help you. We'd love to answer. It's just like I'm trolling the internet for anything that I can find to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you guys let me have free reign, I'm going to talk about garbage that nobody wants to hear about for 4 hours. So, if you've got a question straight off the jump, we'd love to hear from you. I do appreciate you guys watching, because I don't love doing this podcast, which is not true. I do like doing the podcast.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to remember how hyperbolic you are, how you just say crazy stuff
It's a great point.
So over-exaggerated.
A good point from you.
Yeah, I got a lot of good points.
It is not my favorite thing to do.
No.
But I do enjoy discussing topics with you, obviously.
Yeah. Well, because this isn't stuff that we normally talk about.
True.
So it's kind of fun to get your perspective on stuff that I would never think to ask you.
Yeah, and I do feel like I know more of your knowledge base in terms of fitness and nutrition from these podcasts, and been kind of shocked by how much you do know, which has been really nice.
Well, I'm pretty smart.
I mean, that's never in doubt. But being smart and having a very niche interest in the fitness space is two completely different things.
I think I've absorbed a lot from you.
Well, it's been 3 years now.
Yeah, just from when you were first getting your certification and talking about all these cool things that you were learning and hearing stories about what you do with your clients and watching you, train and tweak your diet. I've I think just by osmosis really picked up a lot of
I think you have
intel, more than even I have realized, to be honest.
Well, with the nutrition stuff, because I am a garbage cook and you do most of all of the cooking, we've had to talk about portion control and you do a lot of the grocery shopping, and it's we can't have this during this time. So you're learning about bulking and cutting cycles through that.
Yeah, I kind of have to.
Right.
I really don't have a choice.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for forcing my life upon you.
It's been interesting to learn. And I mean, I hear a lot of people, even yesterday at work, people were making jokes about how they can't lose weight.
Yep.
And
that's a big one.
I kind of had to, I'm this is not the place to, say, well, have you tried blah, blah, blah. But I see people really struggling, and it's I walk a lot and I eat only salads. I'm but what dressing are you using? And you work a desk job like I do. How much are you really acting? I guess I've learned a lot of things that have helped me be just kind of generally more aware of my health and fitness, even though I'm not a particularly fit person. But I mean, I've learned a lot, and I think it's made my life better.
On the bell curve of fitness in this country, you are more towards the right-hand side.
I think,
which is very easy
I'm
to be.
I'm gonna say something that I say a lot. Better does not mean good.
Yeah, that's true. I think what's so wild is just two things. First of all, you're experiencing the personal trainer's dilemma, where when you're not in the space, if I don't have my uniform shirt on, or I'm not actively trying to sell my coaching, but I'm around and people are complaining about can't lose weight, don't love exercise. It's well, do I step in here and say, hey, I've got, or do sometimes people are just complaining. Yeah. And you just let them be.
Right. Then it was somebody sent a meme in our big group chat.
It's you're not going to be,
and I was I'm not going to be well, have you tried
exactly.
this?
Exactly.
How much do you have a step counter? How much are you really walking?
Right. But
this is really not the time.
There's a certain level of because this is my profession, I always am asking myself, should I want to be available to people. I want people to feel comfortable around me asking those types of questions.
Yeah.
And that's something that as a trainer or as a coach, you have to really fight against. Every interaction is a unique interaction. So for us, we answer the same question over and over and over again. Yeah. But for the individual, this may be their first time asking that question and getting a coherent answer. So it can feel hopeless for us. when you're coaching a roster of 30 to 40 people to be receiving very similar questions, but you've always got to remember it's a unique experience to the person.
Right.
So although I've answered what is a calorie deficit a million times, this person coming to me
has just heard about this for maybe the first time.
Right. And what's great with the YouTube channel is I'm building up a library that I can direct people to rather than having to repeat myself a bunch. I love talking to people and answering those questions, but it's also very nice to say, hey, I have a much more detailed breakdown in video form that I can just send you to. The other thing, we're just so bad. Human beings in general are so bad at estimating everything.
Yeah.
So in a fitness context, how much you're moving, how much you're actually eating. I would say, honestly, how much you're moving, subtract that by 50%. And how much you're eating, add an additional 50%. Because there has been study after study after study about like self-reporting food and movement and exercise.
And it's wrong.
And it is off by like factors of like 10.
Yeah, easily.
Like it's crazy. And even I've been tracking my food pretty religiously for about 3 years now. And in moments where I don't track and I try to move to an intuitive eating style,
does not work for you.
It doesn't work for me, but even when I think it's working, it's not, because I'm guesstimating portions and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely 4 ounces, when in actuality it's 8.
And probably in your heart, you know it's not 4 ounces, but
yeah, there's a little bit of that too.
Well, but
sometimes you're just wrong.
Right? Yeah, sometimes you are just wrong.
Like sometimes you think for sure this is only a cup of rice and it's like a cup and a half. And that stuff starts to add up. That's why intuitive eating is one of those things where if we lived in a utopia and we didn't have the foibles of being humans, intuitive eating would work really well.
Yeah.
And it may be a good goal to strive towards, but as a coach and a trainer, and even somebody who's trying to make a change themselves, I really, really think to be honest with yourself and to have accountability to a tracking program is the best way to go about it.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's different levels of tracking for different people. Yeah. Like you have a hard time losing weight and you do not have a hard time gaining weight. So I think for you, tracking like your calories and your macros is really important.
Yeah.
Right? Like your macros because of your strength goals.
Right.
For me, the only thing that I really struggle with is getting enough protein.
Yeah.
That's the only...
You and everybody else on this earth.
I feel very lucky that that's the only like weight struggle that I have. Yeah. I do not eat enough protein. And so for me, I'm not going to bother to track my calories because it takes time.
Right.
And I just don't need to.
It does take... That's the thing is...
It takes time.
It's not... It's one of those first world problems where obviously it's not like, oh my God, we have the luxury of eating food, but it is inconvenient.
Yeah. Well, and once you've done it for 2 weeks, it gets easier. You build a library of things that you tend to eat a lot.
Yeah. Like all my foods are in recipes. So I just click like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'm good.
But you eat the same thing
exactly
every day.
But I think that is an effective way to like, honestly, like discipline and constraint breeds comfort and freedom in your life. I like the more that I'm like worried about, oh, what am I going to eat for dinner? The more freedom allows me to make a poor choice. Do you know what I mean? Whereas even if it's choosing between two things, if you're choosing between two things and you've made the attempt to make both of those things relatively healthy choices, then you still get the illusion of freedom because you're making a choice, but it's so constrained that you're not like crippled with anxiety or choice fear or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that works for you.
What I'm arguing is I think that that's what most people need. I really do. I've dealt with a lot of people who are trying to lose weight. And the more rigidity it's the wrong word, but the more constraints that they put upon themselves, the more successful the weight loss is. Just
because it's probably one less thing to think about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, This illusion of choice and freedom is really what sets people back.
Yeah.
Because what's so crazy is I usually will program in 2 free meals for people if we're doing a weekly thing. And on those 2 free meals, that's usually when I get most of the questions like, hey, can I really eat this? Or can I really eat that? Because
like what? What do you...
Well,
Can
because
you give an example of what the food is that people
no,
are
it's just like everything's open to them. So now they're like, oh, well, what do I eat? What, like, it just creates it's like if you sit down and you turn Netflix on and you don't have something specific in mind, you're going to scroll for 45 minutes and then you get either not watching anything or watching something terrible. It's the same with food.
Yeah.
If you open up DoorDash or you open up your fridge and you've got 18 different options,
and you're like, oh, I don't know what I want.
You're going to make the choice that is easiest, and usually easiest does not equate to on plan or foods that is going to get you towards your goal.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? But nobody wants to hear that because we've been told, oh, restriction. That's one, it's going to lead to disordered eating, which is not the case in a lot of, it sometimes yes, but the majority no. They've done studies on this as well. Because with the rise of counting calories, the first question was, well, what does this do to creating disordered eating patterns in people? So they did a bunch of studies. It's all individual, but the majority of people are able to track for a season of life. It's not a full long-term thing, and come off of that and not experience any adverse effects in terms of their relationship with food. Some people do, but the majority of people do not.
Yeah. And I think you kind of need to know yourself and know if that's something you're at risk of developing.
Definitely.
Or not.
But the other thing too is, let's say, okay, I'm going to go about this in an intuitive eating way. First of all, intuitive eating has gotten you in the position that you're in right now.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
You've been eating intuitively to this point of obesity.
I've intuitively eaten a lot of burgers.
Because in my mind, intuitive eating is eating until you're full, eating a diverse range of foods.
Eating what you want.
What you want, but in a diverse range of foods so that you're covering all of your nutritional bases. Well, guess what? If there's a kid that only eats chicken nuggets, he's eating intuitively thousands of chicken nuggets. He's missing his micronutrition. He's missing his macronutrition. He's dehydrated, but he's intuitively eating. I mean, it's
that's a fair point.
Right. So I'm not saying that intuitive eating cannot work. It obviously works.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that it works for.
But it is the second step in a long line of learning about nutrition, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
how are you going to know intuitively what a serving size is, or what a diverse meal in terms of macro and micronutrition is if you have not done the work up front to track, to learn about what protein, carb, fats, micronutrition, what a serving size looks like?
Yeah.
You're intuiting nothing. Point. You're intuiting garbage at that point.
At that point, it's just like there's no thought about it. It's just, what do I want to eat? And then eating it.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the more, knowledge is power. It's like the more that you know and understand about how nutrition works, the better choices you're going to be able to intuitively make.
The issue is the emotional connection to weight loss, which, trust me, I'm right there with you. It is one of the emotional struggles of my life. But I'll tell you what, success for me has been divorcing that emotion from my weight. Because now I'm able to live in a broad range of nutrition. I can go untracked for a little bit. I can go intuitive eating for a little bit. I can go very hardcore tracking for a little bit. I have a broader range of options now because I'm not, one, gaining my self-worth from my size, but two, I'm not emotionally attached to it as much. There's still times when you struggle, but I'm not there were times early on in my journey where I would weigh myself and I would just say, oh, I can't put that into the app because the app is going to judge me. Dude, the app's not real.
The app does not care.
The app it's an app. It's not a human. It doesn't have feelings. I could delete it from my phone and I would never think about it again. Right. It does not have impact.
Right.
It does not have eternal significance.
Yeah.
It's like, so that is the big thing. But the problem is, I'm offering a lot of problems today, but it's because you start peeling back layers of what are the big problems that people have with weight loss, and you get to this point. Most of the time, you get to an emotional connection to weight loss for whatever reason.
Yeah,
whether it's genetic, whether it's societal, whether it's whatever. But a lot of people, their issues with weight stems from that. So you can't just have somebody say, follow this meal plan for 8 weeks and you'll be good to go. Because then, yes, you may lose weight for 8 weeks, but if you have not addressed the root cause of your relationship with food and how you emotionally relate to your weight, you're going to go right back to where you were.
Yeah.
And it could also be, maybe it's not emotional. Maybe it is, you just have a problem with discipline. But are there other, few people have a universal problem with discipline.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's usually areas of their life that they're lacking discipline in.
Sure.
So if you're lacking discipline in food choice, in sticking to a meal plan, where in your life do you have, I'm presuming you're going to a job. That's discipline.
Yeah.
Get up, go to work, do the best at work. I'm presuming that you have relationships that you're trying to foster. You show discipline in ways in which you relate to people.
Right.
So how do we get that discipline to then carry over to this area of your life? Because you have it in you. You definitely do. I find, unless you are pathological, you have discipline somewhere in your life. Somewhere. So, but then put yourself in that perspective and say, okay, well, why do I find it easier to adhere in this area than I do over here? And see if there's any, cross patterns there.
Is that something that you had to do?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's great for me is I am the most disciplined human being on earth when it comes to going to the gym. I am going to the gym. To
the detriment of your joints.
Name a time in which I have just not gone to the gym.
Yeah. I mean, when you were sick with COVID, and
I was forced to.
You were really upset
and I was
about
pissed.
it. You're very upset about it, but you're like, I know that I need to take some days off.
But I just don't do that. Yeah. That is so I had discipline in that area. And the great thing about it is usually diet and exercise are grouped together.
Right.
So I had to ask myself, okay, so what is it about the gym and strength training that gives me a feeling of accomplishment or whatever that allows me to feel accomplished in my discipline in that area? And I had to take a lot of that over to the diet. Basically, it was the connection of you want to do something really well in the gym. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be able to compete at a certain level. You need to steal some of that discipline from the gym and apply it to something that's corollary to the gym that will help you do better in the gym.
Yeah. I think it helps when you have a bigger why of why you want to eat more nutritionally.
Yeah.
It's like you wanted to succeed in the gym. You wanted to get stronger. How you eat is a big part of that. And, I am not disciplined about going to the gym. So for me, eating healthy is about other parts of my life.
So what is it?
Just wanting to age healthfully, that's
Let me
really
ask you
it.
that. But let me ask you, have I not told you
Oh, I know that exercise is
how important resistance training is specifically for women?
And that's the reason that I do work out at all.
But
honestly,
in moments where you're having downtime, like you are right now, where it's a hard thing to get back to resistance training.
Yeah.
Where's the disconnect?
Well, that's why I'm going to get back to it.
Yeah, but we've been saying that for a couple weeks now.
But now I'm going to.
I'm not putting you on blast. I'm trying to talk to you about giving an example to the audience here. Where did that? Because you have the why, you have the big why.
Yeah.
So then, what broke down?
I think it's just I don't love it. So just
even
to be fully honest, I don't love it. So when my schedule fills up a little bit more,
that's the first
a lot
thing
of
you're
times
cut.
that's the first thing to go.
Yeah.
And I also have been focusing more on the rehab for my arm.
Right. You've had
an
injury.
And so that's kind of been my 30 to 40 minutes of exercise is I've been exercising specifically my arms and my shoulders. So there has been resistance training for me in the last few months. It's just only been my arms.
And I think that obviously has value, but
I just didn't find the time for both.
Yeah.
I probably could have.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to do other things. I had other things that were filling my time.
Well, I wanted to dig into that because even if, I'm a guy that part of my identity is strength training, specifically powerlifting. And even I have moments where with the biggest why in the world, which is identity, I'm still finding it hard to get myself to that level of get in the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to relate to people who do not have that massive why.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, like, we all know how important diet and exercise is.
Oh, yeah.
At this point in modern history, we've figured it out. As much as nutrition science is still up in the air and exercise science, we know.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think almost anyone would agree.
Unless you're just loco. Like, there are some people that are fully crazy. Like, I've come across people that are like, if you lift weights, you're going to die young. And they fully believe that.
Yeah.
So if you live on planet Earth, not with those crazy people, we know.
Yeah.
But it seems that is not enough. Knowledge is not enough.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because that even still, knowing that we can age better, that's still a subjective, nebulous.
It's very far away from
we
most
don't live
people.
in the future.
Right.
So, like, this idea, like, okay, and some people could probably make a big bargain with themselves. It's like, okay, I'm 20 now.
When I'm 50.
When I'm 50, I'll probably start to feel that's 30 good years where I can still live the way that I want to, and then I'll just leverage my future for 30 years in the middle. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to make those choices themselves.
Yeah.
And you never know. You could get hit by a bus.
That's true.
But like we always say, you want to buy as many lottery tickets as possible to set yourself up for a win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, and so you reworked my workout plan, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
That hopefully will make it a little bit less of a barrier to entry for
that's
me.
a great point. So
you made an adjustment for me so that it'll be easier for me to get back into it, which I appreciate.
That is a fantastic point, because usually I'll just talk about stuff and we won't get to like an actionable tip. But I love an actionable tip.
There we go.
And here's one right here. You can have the goal. You can experience success within the goal. You can fall off. How do you get back to where you were? Make adjustments. A lot of the times, something is better than nothing. So even if it's one day back in the gym, even if it's 15 minutes going outside and taking a walk, that type of stuff compounds.
Right.
And then you can get back to where you were.
Right.
But I think we're so all or nothing. I will say this about myself for sure. If I know that I cannot give full effort, I'm likely not going to do the thing.
Right. Right. So like prior, I had a 4-day-a-week plan from you, which I really liked. I mean, I never had any dislike to any of the like movements or whatever.
Right.
But 4 days a week, I can't always do that. So I really probably was mostly doing 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. And then I guess got to a point where I was like, it just kind of, I was really good with the 4 days a week, and then I kind of went down to 3, and I just kind of tapered off. And so you reduced it and modified it to just 3 days a week. And to me, that seems a lot more manageable. I don't know why it has that feeling for me, but I'm like, 3 days a week, I can do that.
Well, you go from 4 to 3, that's a big, it frees up a lot more time.
It feels a lot more achievable for me.
This is why, honestly, if you've ever done a consult with me, or I am very forgiving and usually try and talk people down when we're starting a plan.
Yeah.
People will come to me and be
There's
like,
a tendency to be so gung-ho when you
dude,
start
I'm going to be in the gym
thing.
6 days a week, 2 hours a day. It's like, whoa, listen, maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
Maybe we will get
there,
but we're not starting there, because that is going to burn you the heck out.
Yeah. Well, I think people do a lot of similar things when they're starting a new diet for weight loss.
Any type of new thing.
Yeah. It's like they cut down to like 1,300 calories a day.
Yeah.
And they do it for 2 weeks, and then they eat an entire chocolate cake.
Right.
Because it's like.
Because they're humans, and that's how it works.
Too gung-ho, and it's not sustainable, and you just completely fall off. I think going to the gym is the same. It's like, you know, the 6 days a week for 1 to 2 hours a day. You're going to fall off of that so quick.
First of all, if you can walk after that, good on you.
Yeah,
but
wow.
you're going to get burnt out, because you have to fit it in. It's not like you're getting paid to be a professional athlete where you can go to the gym for 2 hours, get treatment, sit around at home, recover. You're also a working human being. You also have a job. You have relationships.
Like you have to play with your kids.
You have other responsibilities. So
yeah,
it is a priority. I'd say it's a very high priority to have a solid exercise and diet routine that can take you into the long term of your life, but it has to fit.
Yeah.
It has to fit.
Yeah.
So another one of my big questions is, what time are you going to work out? I'm a big believer in, don't just say I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to the gym at 5:15 after work. Okay, how am I going to make that work? I'm going to have my gym bag in the back of my car so that I can go directly from the office to the gym, change, get a workout in, get home by 6 p.m. Make it that specific because we humans are not good at nebulous, just out there. Oh yeah, I'll go to the gym on Thursday, or I'll go to the gym next week, or whatever. You're never going to do that because then you get to Thursday and you're like, well, today really got away from me. Next week. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm really bad about that. I think
everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to start
off the hook.
Yeah. I think I'm going to start like the night before, putting my gym clothes on the dresser.
Yes.
So that when I wake up, they're right there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to work out.
There are tools. There are when I really didn't want to swim, because when I first started working out, it's funny, I'm reading some of my old journal entries from when I got sober and when I started getting back in the gym. I wasn't touching the weights because I was scared, because I didn't want to feel weak, because I had some decent history with weights. I was pretty strong and then fell off. So I was scared to not feel as strong as I once was. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do cardio. But I didn't want to run because I was so fat that my knees were killing me. So it was swimming, but I didn't want to swim. So what I would do is I would pack my gym bag, and on top would be my goggles and my swimsuit.
So you had to dig
So I had to dig through the goggles and if I was going to the gym, I took the bag, and if I was really smart. If I was like, I just want to do bicep curls today, it's like, well, to get to your shirt, you got to go through you have to physically touch the goggles and move them out of the way. Which is not to say that that's a perfect, because sometimes you just feel like, yeah, screw the goggles and move, but just that little bit of remembrance,
it's like,
or that little hindrance,
I got to do it.
And I would say 95% success rate, I would get in the pool and swim.
Good for you.
But it's like there's apps on your phone where it's not a full blocker of Instagram or Twitter or whatever, but it's like a reminder. So you go to open the app and it just says, hey, did you really want to open this app? And just that alone will bring you back into mindfulness to be like, did I just do this out of habit? Or was there something specific that I was going to look for? So you can leverage, humans work this way. You can leverage those things to get, the things that the social media companies use to keep you stuck on their platforms, you can leverage to get towards more beneficial outcomes. You can figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put your dang tennis shoes in front of the door.
Yeah.
Before you leave.
I would do that if you didn't wake up before me.
Right. But I need
to come up with something.
Yeah, you can find there's tons of different things.
Yeah.
Tons of ways to do it.
Yeah.
So that's
I'll put the kettlebell on my nightstand.
Anything.
That way when I wake up in the morning, it's right there.
Anything like that. I mean, we go through life so automated. Yeah. And that's good, because there's a lot. If we had to think about everything we did,
you would never make it through an hour.
We'd go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can leverage non-automated thinking to get you to start behaving differently. The human brain is powerful. It's amazing. You can do these types of things. And it's not like you wake up one day and you're like, I'm David Goggins. I'm the most disciplined man in the world. It's like, no.
I'm never going to be David Goggins.
You wake up in the morning and you're like, well, my shoes are by the door. I could go for let me just go for 10 minutes. And then when you get there and you're running for 10 minutes, you're like, man, I feel pretty good.
Like I can do 15.
You keep going. And then next thing you know, you're running 30 minutes a day. And then you're running 45. And then you're signing up for a 5K and a 10. This stuff builds. It compounds. It does. It really, really does.
Yeah, it does.
Because at our core, we want to accomplish things. We want to have purpose. And we can create that purpose in physical fitness. Yeah. It's just getting started and building a track.
Well, and I to be totally honest, I really am looking forward to getting back on the horse, so to speak, because after we had COVID, I took like probably 10 days off from getting my steps every day.
Start to feel pretty bad.
Yeah, I just feel more
less energy.
sluggish.
Yeah.
Like this past week, especially, and I've been getting my steps this past week, and it's been really hard.
Yeah,
not from like a fatigue, but it's just like it's
hard.
You're
just not used to
do it. But I do feel sluggish. Like I have really been struggling more than usual to stay focused at work. So I think that it's really, 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 really past time for me to get back into it. So I'm looking forward to feeling optimally.
You're going to be good to go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to feeling good. So
yeah,
and to trying this new plan that you've got. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Well, there's a couple things in there. You got to do push-ups. So good luck.
Well, I was doing that before.
You're doing full push-ups?
No, I don't. I've never done a full push-up in my life.
You done the knee push-ups?
I do the girl push-ups.
Well, we like to be gender neutral on this channel. They're the knee push-ups. I got in trouble in the gym one time.
You did?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because of course.
From a client?
Yes.
Oh no.
I called them girl push-ups, and she was like, "Excuse me." And I was like, "Yeah, I am very sorry. That listen.
Yes,
I can't be perfect all the time."
I can do knee push-ups, or I can do like push-ups on the edge of the bed.
Yeah, which work.
Like incline push-ups or wall push-ups.
Don't think that is
or the back
less.
of the couch. I've done that. Well, I mean, no. Let's be honest.
No.
It is easier.
It is easier, but it is still for you. It is still adequate difficulty to create response and adaptation.
I agree with that.
Difficulty in the gym, in any physical endeavor, is always going to be relative to you as an individual.
I think that it is both, right? It is objectively harder to do a regular push-up.
But that doesn't help you at all.
But that doesn't matter to me.
Right.
I'm going to do what's the appropriate difficulty level for myself.
Yeah, so if you
I don't have a problem with that. It's like
you want to be scientific about it.
I don't care that I can't do a regular push-up.
Yeah.
I'm a weakling.
I'm more so talking to
it's
other
fine.
people. Like,
but it is objectively harder to do a regular push-up.
Well, this is the big problem with like bodybuilding, and a lot of young bodybuilders. It's like I got to put 1,000 pounds on the bar.
No, you don't.
It's like, dude, if you work with good technique and you have a challenging weight, a weight that's going to get you 1-2 reps shy of failure, maybe 2 failure, you're fine. It doesn't matter if it's 30 pounds or if it's 70 pounds.
Well, because if it's 30 pounds and you do it well, you're going to get to 70 pounds. It's like, I love the gym fail video of that guy who's got like 600 pounds on the bar and he's doing like 1/8 range. He's doing like he's literally moving like this.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and
his legs look like sticks.
Yeah.
Because he's not actually lifting any weight.
We could spend a whole podcast talking about ego lifting.
It's so much more beneficial to do something that is appropriate for you, even if it's easier,
for sure,
quote unquote. And then you'll, if you stick with it, which is my problem, you'll get to the harder stuff. I think if I'd stuck with it
the transition
forever, I would probably be able to do a push-up by now.
The transition between the boost of energy that you get at the beginning of something and then holding on to that consistency, that's the real kicker.
Yeah. Well, every time I fall off the wagon and get back, I stay on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, look at my journey to weight loss.
Yeah.
I started dieting when I was 15.
Really?
Yeah, I went on the Whole30. No, that was later. I went on something. I guess I was 16 or 17.
Okay.
Because it was right as we were about to graduate from high school, and I was going to be on my own. So my mom was like, "Hey,
you need to learn how to eat.
You got to figure out how to eat food," which I didn't. But so I did some type of diet. Lasted for about 3 weeks, and then I was like, screw this. I'm a young man. I can't die. Everything's going to be fine. Because you just feel invincible at that point.
I'm 17. I'm going to live forever.
Right. But I went through 10 to 15 iterations of some type of diet to falling off to back to a binging episode. But every time, like you said, every successive episode was a little bit more successful.
Yeah. Yep.
And then one of them finally stuck.
Well, and
keep chipping away, man.
I think that your journey with food and my journey with physical activity have really been parallel to each other. I think you're ahead of me in our general overall success, which is not a big deal to me. I'll get there. But when I was younger, I didn't think I could ever do anything.
Right.
I didn't think I could run.
Right.
I didn't I knew I could walk, obviously.
Yeah, but physical activity was not your wheelhouse.
I didn't think I could ever play a sport, which I still really don't think I can do that, but that's okay. Didn't ever dream of picking up a weight.
Right. That's a big one.
That wasn't even something that I would have ever considered doing.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I've run, I can run a couple miles.
Yeah.
I've lifted weights now, and I kind of, I'm really good with it, and then I kind of fall off.
You've made some serious progress with that.
I mean, I can do things now that I never thought I would
5 years
even
from
try.
now, trust me, 5 years from now, she's going to be on the bodybuilding stage.
No, I'm not.
Probably not. But we may get her in a gym.
Maybe.
You never know.
I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of cool to look back and because to be totally transparent, and you probably know this, but the only reason I started doing weight kind of workouts was to let you try out programming on me. I was probably your first client.
You were. Yeah.
And I really just kind of did it to be nice.
Yeah. I knew. I 100%
I don't think
knew
that's
that.
a surprise revelation to you.
No, I absolutely knew that.
But I was like, I'll let him. I'll be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's not gonna hurt me. I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna be good at it. But I'll do it for a couple weeks just to let him give it a try. And I ended up liking it.
It's hard. The other thing too is if you have a strong support system, or you have someone who lives with you, or maybe you live with roommates, it's hard to remain sedentary. And I use this very broadly. If other people are making progress.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
listen, if you out there want to get strong and be really disciplined with going to the gym, try living with your personal trainer.
Yeah.
Because it really is it's a whole guilt trip all the time.
I've been pouring the guilt on quite a bit these past couple of
and
weeks.
I know that it's because you care about me. I totally
I'm not trying to
understand that.
guilt you.
I don't feel bad.
But
I don't feel bad.
I do want to present.
You encourage me to do what is good for me. And I like that and I appreciate that.
I know how easy it is to lie to yourself and say, oh, I'll get to it later.
Yeah.
Or just to conveniently forget. I do that all the time. But if you have somebody who's there that's like, hey, did you work out today? It's harder to lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because what I have to say is I was supposed to and I haven't yet and I'm not planning to.
And that's fine as well. I'm never going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You're wasting your life. No, I'm never
but you're
going to do
just
that.
you can do it tomorrow.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that in general, having a trainer is really helpful for being accountable to yourself, or having a gym buddy who you go to the gym with, or living with your trainer.
I think
can't recommend it enough.
We're community-oriented creatures.
Yeah.
So there's always, some people work. I don't love working out with people, but there is something to be said about a boost.
Some people like that.
So, I mean,
and that's great.
Totally cool. The thing about that is I'm so particular with the times that I go to the gym and what mental state I'm trying to be in. It's harder, and people just talk too much for me. I love talking to people, but hey man, I got to do a set. It's been 15 minutes. What? I gotta
go.
I'm
cold.
So I had the icebreaker was supposed to be what for the last couple. What does a successful last few months of the year look like for you?
Going forward?
Yeah, we've got 4 years. We got 4 months until the end of the year.
Well, I guess what we've been talking about, I would like to.
Yeah, we kind of covered that.
Work out again.
I'm trying to think.
I think that's it.
Because it's a tough. I always month by month. I love big chunks of time where I can make significant progress.
Big goals, yeah.
It's why I like programming so much, because I can say, oh, I'm going to do a 12-week strength program, and by the end of 12 weeks, I want to be here.
Yeah.
I just really get motivated by that. Mm-hmm. So I'm always thinking about listen, you're close to the ends of years and beginnings of years are really big for me. Mm-hmm. Because that, I get January and February, I'm living off of such a high of this is a new year that I can do anything.
Yeah. I might try to get to 100 books by the end of the year.
Wow. I think I'm on track for 65. Which would blow my
good for you.
I think the most I did last year was 40, and that was the most I have ever done.
Nice. I think I'm on track right now for a little over 90. So if I really push it, I think I've never gotten to 100 before. I think the best I've ever done is in the 80s.
That's crazy.
I know.
You know that there are human beings that don't read 80 books in their lifetime.
That's really sad. There's a lot of great books out there.
Well, you know, there was somebody that was talking, I saw a reel that was like, they've estimated that there are over 2 million books written.
Wow.
And
I'm on my way.
Well, here's the thing. They took the highest literacy country, I think is Romania, which is wild.
Really? They do have a very strong poetry tradition, actually.
They took that, and that averages out to, I think, like 36 books a year. And that's the highest literacy country in the world.
Okay, they read the most, and they on average read 36 books a year.
So the math on that is like in a lifetime, let's say prescient or
like you start reading books at the
12,
age of, if you're a great reader.
Yeah. That averages out to like 25,000 books in a lifetime.
Nice.
So you're not even going to come close to the amount of. But the guy was saying like this is a reason for you to just DNA or DNF a book.
Yeah.
Like you just don't have time.
So the rule that I have heard of is 100 pages. 100 pages minus your age.
Oh wow, that's good.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So it's like if you're 90 and it's not grabbed you in 10 pages,
send it.
Chuck it.
Yeah, that's good.
But like if you're 15, you got to give it 85 pages because it might end up being the best book you've ever read.
I'll tell you what.
Start.
I think 50 pages is usually my limit. If there's nothing interesting to me in 50 pages, unless it's like a classic that like people have recommended,
and it's like,
and I'm like, okay, well, I just have to
you
read
really
this
want
for
to give
clout
it a fair shot.
at some or just to say that I've read it, or like see what I can get from it. I don't know. I approach books very differently than most people. I do not approach books for entertainment. It is not. It is not an entertainment thing for me.
It really is hard for me to not finish a book.
Yeah, me too.
I finish. Yep. I can probably
some garbage.
Like in my head right now. I can only think of 2 books that I haven't finished.
Yeah, you've told me about that.
And there's 600 books on my Goodreads finish page. Like I finish almost every book that I start.
I have never not quit an audiobook. Because it's an audiobook, you can
jump it up to 2 times speed. Well, that's kind of the thing. If I'm reading a book and I'm not really enjoying it, like I'll kind of zoom it.
Yeah.
But I'll finish it.
I'm trying to think if I've ever quit I quit a bunch of books in high school, but that didn't count because I didn't choose to. Like, I didn't read freaking Dante's Inferno.
Well, you didn't want to in the first place.
I went back and read them.
Really?
In college, yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Inferno's fine. The other 2.
Yeah.
And The Scarlet Letter.
That's one of my favorites.
Woof. I love that. I cannot believe you like that book.
One of the only books that I didn't finish. I love this. And I wish I would have kept it for the laughs, just so I could show it to people. It was this book.
The Moon book.
The Moon People book. It's called The Secret History of the World. And on the front, you should have known
from the title.
Well, no. So if you read the back of the book and like you look for it looks like a history of like the secret cults and what's the one in the
Illuminati?
Yeah. Or the Masons and like all of that. I thought it was going to be a history of like these weird secret, because that's what the back of the book says it's about.
Yeah. Okay.
And I start reading this book and it's like an alternative history of like there were like moon people and like sludge across the earth and like
what
it was
if I
so
told
weird.
You that's what they actually believe.
But that's the thing. It was like presented as fact, and there were like there were drawings of these moon people, and I was like, I can't read this.
There are people that still think that the Earth is flat.
This is like goo goo gaga. Like I can't. So I made it over 100 pages in that book.
Wild.
I really tried, and this is the only time I've ever done this. I threw it in the garbage.
Nice. Well, that's where it belongs. I would have read the index and been like, no, this is not for me.
I wish I would have kept it though, because it was a real laugh. But anyway, that's one of the only books I've ever not finished. All that to say, I would like to read 100 books this year.
I'm trying to think what I think for me. I'm hesitant to put numbers on things, but I have been reading a couple articles that have kind of changed my thinking about that. And it's like, no, do put an objective measure on your goals.
And if you don't reach it, it's no big deal.
Exactly.
Like if I only read 95 books, that's still a lot of books. I had a great year of reading.
But I think like in terms of developing the YouTube channel and the Instagram and my business, like I would like a successful, like last 4 months for me would be 5 more clients, online clients. Getting to 500 subscribers on YouTube, which has been a goal of mine for a while. I'm getting close. Yeah. Thank you guys for subscribing.
So subscribe.
Please subscribe if you haven't
already.
Maybe
you can be number 500.
Yeah. And then getting to 1,000 followers on Instagram.
You're close to that as well.
Which I'm also close to that as well. I'll tell you what, I had one Instagram reel go viral and that has brought me in like 400 or 500 followers.
Wow. Good for you.
It's crazy, man. Instagram is a weird thing.
If I could manage to post once a month for the rest of the year, I would be really proud of myself.
You can definitely do that.
Well, it's an achievable goal.
There you go. But that's all that to say, like, it'll be cool if it will be okay if I don't hit it. Because there are also like goals within those bigger goals. Like for YouTube specifically, you can break down YouTube videos like, do I like the content? Am I choosing topics that other people like to watch about?
Do I feel like the quality of the video
quality of the video improving each time that I put it? And I think I'm checking off all of those boxes, which reduces the sting of not hitting a number.
Right.
But if I do hit a number,
you still can feel like you're making progress.
Exactly. Yeah. If I do hit a number, that'll be great, and then we just keep moving on.
Yeah.
My coffee is wearing off. These Saturday, I'll tell you what, guys. I recorded a long form video and 7 shorts.
You did 7 shorts today?
Yeah, because I'm trying to batch all the shorts together.
Good for you.
I'm getting a lot better at my shorts voice. You know, there's this, you have to have a specific voice. The shorts voice is like the world is ending. You have to listen to me because you only have so much time for people to pay attention to you.
Right.
Which is so dumb. But there was something I read that was like within the first 3 seconds, you have to hook me. 3 seconds.
Easy. Yeah. Well, think like when you're scrolling, think how easy it is to swipe past something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
I believe it.
I get it.
But yeah, that's.
It's just sad to think about. Like, we're talking about books and giving them 100 pages. And then you're talking about a reel and it's like 3 seconds. It's like, whoa, man, how did we get here?
But I will say proportionally, I think 100 pages of a book is equal to about 3 seconds of a reel.
I don't know about that. I don't read a lot of huge books. 100 pages is
how long is the average reel?
The average reel is probably like 8 seconds. But I think it's very niche specific.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, a fitness reel or a real estate reel are probably longer. Whereas crochet reels are like 4 seconds because it's just like a trending sound and 3 little stitches and then you're off to the next thing.
Right. But like, I don't know, 3 seconds out of a 9-second reel, that's a third.
A big chunk. Yeah, true.
Most books are around 300 pages.
True. I get you. I just think.
Now, to be fair, to read 100 pages of a book takes much longer than 3 seconds.
And it takes more of an attention span and like a commitment to something. I don't know. Yeah. But again, that's the format of the content. It's shorter content. Like that's
how it's supposed to be.
But there is like when I first started doing YouTube and short form content, I approached short form content in the same way that I approached YouTube. And you cannot do that.
No.
It just doesn't work.
They're on the same platform, so it's hard, I think, to separate them as different media.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think that's why YouTube Shorts are not doing as well as, say, TikTok or Instagram. Because when you're on YouTube,
you're there for
as
a video.
Viewer, you're there for a video. You are willing to commit yourself to 15 to 20 minutes. Whereas when you're on TikTok, you're also probably willing to commit yourself to 15 to 20 minutes, but you're going to consume 150 reels in that time.
Right.
So it's like when you watch a movie versus a TV show.
Right. You spend the same amount of time.
You are coming in as a viewer willing to commit a different thing. I think YouTube Shorts, it's decent. Like there's definitely people that are making good YouTube Short specific content. But in my mind, it always seems more profitable to put that on a short platform.
Yeah. It's like the secondary purpose of YouTube, I think. Whereas it is the only purpose of TikTok.
And I think people treat it that way.
Yeah,
like coming from a creator perspective, people treat YouTube Shorts as here's a little snippet. The algorithm.
So that you'll come to my channel and watch my actual stuff.
And the algorithm is pushing shorts content right now. So you're like, well, I might as well use it. It definitely gets like an average YouTube video, long form video for me gets between 100 and 300 views.
Yeah.
Impressions wise, usually it's shown to like 1,500 to 3,000 people.
Okay.
An average YouTube short probably can get up to between 5,000 and 10,000 impressions. Mm-hmm. So it's just putting your stuff in front of more eyeballs. So I see why people use it.
With that.
But there is YouTube Shorts it's just recycled Instagram. Like sometimes people just upload it with the Instagram or TikTok watermark on there, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know. All that to say, I would like to hit those numbers. So if you want to be a part of the channel, I'd love to have you. Yeah. We would love to have you as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am exhausted now, and I'm gonna stop talking.
All right, it's time to sign off then.
That was a fun podcast.
That was fun.
Who knows if we'll ever do another one?
I think we probably will.
50-50.
Probably next week. I think it's probably 80-20. We will.
70-30.
All right. Fine.
We love you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Don't forget to reach out if you have any questions. Mm-hmm. We'd love to talk to you either on air, off air, whatever.
Yeah. Join our Discord. Talk to us there.
That's true. You can also do that.
Yeah.
One of these days that Discord's going to be popping.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, I was in on the ground floor.
That's right.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, guys.